In this React project, we are going to build this beautiful accordion using ReactJS and vanilla CSS. Now I've been away for a while and I'm back to stay. And to pick things up, I'm going to start off with React projects, and we are going to start off with some easy projects, and then we'll pick things up and then get to some more difficult and then complex React projects, which are going to be very useful for people who want to refresh their minds on React, or people who want to create some real world React projects. So we are going to start things off with this simple and beautiful accordion. Well, most websites use accordion for their popular or frequently asked questions sections. So that's what we are going to create today, which is very simple but very beautiful, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. So this is how the accordion looks like. I just want to give you a brief demo before we proceed. Right, this is how an accordion looks like, and this is what we are going to build in this project. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I forgot to mention, but we are going to make use of the useState hook, especially in this project. But as the series progresses, you are going to learn everything when it comes to creating projects with React.js. All right, so create a project on your desktop or wherever you want on your computer. I'm going to call mine accordion. All right, so that's my folder, and I'm going to open this folder using my text editor, which is VS Code, and I'm going to use Control backtick, or you can go to terminal right here and then click it so that you have your terminal. Let me increase this so that you see everything clearly. And we are going to use our old npx create react app to create a new React project, and I'm going to create it in this current folder. So I'm going to do // and then hit enter, and my React project is being created. All right, we have happy hacking. That means everything went well. And before I leave this terminal, I'm going to install React icons. So make sure you have React icons installed, and that's what we are going to use. If you come back to the project, you can see that we have some icons. Okay, that's the plus and the minus icons. Those are what we are going to need from React icons. All right, so let's go ahead and then run npm start to start up our project. All right, I have the old project running on 3000, so this new one is going to run on 3001. All right, so now let's come back to our project. Let's clean things up, and then I'm going to remove these and then the setup as well. I'm going to delete those, and I'm going to delete app CSS as well. I don't need that. Now let's get into our index.js and remove this. I'm going to remove this as well, and I think that's it for this side. Let's go to our app. Let me remove app test as well. Let's go to our app.js. I'm going to remove app CSS and the logo, since I deleted those. And yep, come back to our project, and this is what we have. Beautiful. Okay, so to start off, let's have a main tag here. Let me actually increase this so that you see everything clearly. I'm going to put everything inside the main tag, and I'm going to have our heading, which is going to be inside an h2, and I'm going to say accordion project singular. Below that, I'm going to have a paragraph tag, and do lorem. All right, and right below the paragraph we are going to have our accordions. If you take a look at the finished project, you can see we have the h2, the paragraph text, and then our accordions, right? And this is what we have so far in our current project. Okay, so let's get back here, and that is going to be inside the menu tag. Okay, a menu tag. Right now I have some data that we are going to use, and so let me create a new file inside our source and call that faqs data.js. Right, and let me paste this here. Okay, it's just an array of objects. Okay, each object has an ID, a title, and then a description. Right, you can call the description an answer to the different questions that people may have, but I think description isn't too bad here as well. All right, and I'm exporting that data here. Okay, perfect. Now this about 8, yeah, right here about 8, but we are only going to use about 4. Okay, I commented the rest out. If you want, you can uncomment them so that you have more frequently asked questions, right? So let's come back to our app, and here we are going to map through that array. Okay, so let's make sure we have that. Let's bring that in here. Let's import data, which is a named export, right? That's why we are importing it this way. Let's import that from faqs data. Okay, right, now let's go ahead and then create another file here called accordion.jsx. I'm going to do refce, and I could do that because I have that ES7 React Native snippets plugin installed, right? That's why I could do refce, and then I have this boilerplate. Right, so I have this accordion file. Now let me come back here, and I'm going to map through that. Okay, so let's do data, which we just brought in, the data array that we brought in, map, and for each item I want to return the accordion component that we just created. But of course we should give it a key, and that should be the item.id, because each item in the array has an ID which is unique, right? And since we are mapping, we should give each element in the array a key. Okay, and for anything else we are just going to spread it, right? But of course we should make sure the accordion component is imported. Okay, so let's import accordion. Right here I'm going to have this inside an li, because remember we have everything inside the menu tag right here. Okay, so this is going to be in an li, and inside the li we are going to have a div, and let's have a span which is going to hold the icon. Okay, if you check the finished project, you can see that right here. So this is going to be the span, which is going to have the icon, and then we are going to have the text, which is going to be the question, right? And this is what we have so far. Okay, this is what we have so far, right? Perfect. All right, so to get the icon, let's go to this website, right? And you can go ahead and then search any icon that you want. and then choose whichever works for you. I'm going to copy this and then paste it right here, and that's the plus sign, and it's going to be rendered, or we should render it as a component. And if we come back to our project, we should have our icon. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and do more than this. Below the span, we are going to have a title, or who is going to be the question, right? We can put that inside an h4, and let me actually destructure the elements coming here. Remember, we added some props to our accordion that we rendered here. We added some props, we spreaded the other properties in the object. Okay, if you take a look at the array, a title and a description, so here in the app we are spreading the title and the description right here. So in here in the accordion, we can get the title and then the description. Perfect. All right, so here we need a title, right? And then below the div, we are going to have a small tag that is going to have the description. I hope that makes sense. All right, so if we come back to our project, that's what we should have. Not looking too bad, I guess. All right, so right here, I think we should go ahead and add some styling to this so that it looks like the finished project before we can proceed to add the other functionality. Okay, but before that, I'm going to go ahead and get the minus sign as well, and I'm not sure which one I used, but I think this should work, or maybe this. Yep, I'm going to just bring that in for now. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and create. We actually have a CSS file already, so I'm going to remove everything here and have my own CSS. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know when it gets to styling, I put the code and the browser side by side. Okay, so right here, that's the project you're working on, so I'll bring that to the side as well so that we see everything happening live. Okay, but before you proceed, I'm going to go ahead and then go to Google Fonts to get Montserrat. That's the font. Oh, come on, that's the font I want to use, so I'm just going to search Montserrat right here. Come on, how do you even do with it? It's been a while. And let me just get font, and yeah, I'm going to get this code right here. It's been a while, guys. Yeah, come to the public and then paste it here. Okay, paste it in the head right after the many comments. Okay, and I think we can proceed. So all these are going to be on the body, but I only need this. Okay, I only need this. Let me just get the body and then paste this. Perfect. All right, so let me put this side by side again, and this as well. Make sure this is a little minimized. Perfect. All right, so let me target every element on the page and zero some things out. Okay, so the margin of every element should be zeroed out, same as the padding. The box sizing is going to be border box, and we have some bullets for the list items, so list style is going to be none, and I think that's it. Okay, that should be perfect. Now let's proceed and have some more styles for the body as well. I'm going to give it a background of that dark purple or whatever that color is. Come on. We are not using any CSS variables today, so there's going to be a hex code of 441978, right? And we have that. Perfect. Now I'm going to give it a minimum height of 100 report height, and I'm going to display it to be grid just so I can place items to the center. Okay, perfect. And lastly, I'm going to give it a line height. Come on, line height of 1.6. Nice. Right, now let's target the main. Okay, remember we have a main. Let me close this. We have, let me make sure you see this before, right? Remember we have a main tag that wraps around everything. We are going to get that. Okay, so let's target that. Where is my CSS file? All right, so let's target the main and give it a width of 36 rem. I'm not doing this to be responsive, okay, but of course you can go ahead and have some responsive styles to this. Okay, this shouldn't be difficult if you know CSS. Now I'm going to get the heading right here, and that's an H2 if you can remember. So H2, I'm going to give that a color of white. You can use a hex FFF, and then a font size of 1.9 rem, and there you have it. Let me actually make it 2 rem. Perfect. Now I'm going to target the paragraph right below the heading. So main P, and I think that's the only paragraph you have on the page, right? So let me give that a margin bottom of 2 rem to have some space between the accordions. And what else? Let me give it a color of white as well. Right, we have that. Perfect. Right, so now let's actually move on to the accordions themselves. Okay, so if you can remember, the accordions are in a menu tag, right? So let's target that menu and display that to be flex. The flex direction is going to be column, and let's give a gap of, let's do 1 rem between them. Okay, so we have that. Now let's target each accordion, and remember each accordion right here is inside an li. Okay, if you want, you can give these element classes or IDs if you want, right? But there's not a big project, so we can just manage. Let me target the LIs, and then I'm going to give them a display of flex, a flex direction. The flex direction is going to be column here as well. I'm going to give them a background, and it is going to be a hex code of FBE1DF, kind of purple, beautiful, and give it a padding. Give it a padding of 1.2 rem. Cursor is going to be pointer. And what else? Let me give it a border of 2 pixels solid, and then this same color. Let me copy this, paste. Beautiful. All right, so now there is a border, but you won't see it. Okay, I have a reason for that, and you're going to understand that very soon. Okay, now let me target the H4. The questions are inside the H4s. Okay, the titles. Right, so let's target that, and actually let me just leave that. Okay, Now let me target. I'm going to have an open class. Okay, so when we click right in the finished project, when we click, we give the element or the accordion that we click, we give that a class of open. Okay, so let me have that class here. So li with a class of open, and for you to see what's happening, let me go here and then give give the accordions a class name of open, just so you see what's happening, right? The background is just going to be transparent, that's all. Okay, so this is how it's going to look, although we will have some different styles here. This is how it's going to look, but of course the text is not visible, it's not really visible. So I'm going to, with the open class, I'm going to target everything inside of it and then give it a color of white. So now we can see everything clearly. Beautiful. All right, so what do we need to do again? Let's move on, and I'm going to target the div that wraps around the span and the h4, and that is li div. Okay, remember in the accordion we have a div like that, this div right here. Let's target that, and I'm going to display flex. Beautiful. And I'm going to give a gap of 1.2 rem between the icon and the h4. Let me actually align items to the center. All right, so let's just move on to get the small tag, which is the answer to each question. That's the description, right? So that's going to be li and then a small tag. I'm going to give it a margin top of 1 rem, a font size of 0.9 rem, and then a margin left of 2.3 rem. So we save this, and this is what we have. Beautiful. Right, so I think this is all for our CSS. I'm going to come back here and then remove the open class for now. Not for now, we are going to work on that, but yeah. So this is what we have, and so let's come back to our accordion so that we work on the logic to open and close our accordion. And if you didn't already know, of course, this is going to be done using state. Okay, with state, this is very easy, right? So let's go ahead and import useState. Right, that's what we're going to use. We are going to import that from React, of course, and let's have a state value of is open here, and a state updating function of set is open, which is coming from useState, and initially it's going to be false. Okay, initially no accordion is going to be open. To open an accordion, we just have to have an on-click prop on our li. Okay, and I'm going to have an anonymous function here, and if we click on an accordion, we're just going to change the current state to the opposite. Change the current, if it's false, it's going to be true. Okay, so the current state is going to be the opposite of what it is, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so since it's true now, since it's false now, it's going to be true when we click on any accordion, and if it is true, it's going to be false, right? I hope that makes sense. All right, and of course we should give it that class depending on whether or not we've clicked on it, or whether or not it is true or false. So if it is true, okay, if it is open, then we want to add a class of open, which we have in the CSS right here. Okay, right here, right? And so far, one thing we have to do here as well is if it's open, you know, initially no description should be showing, right? So if it's open, then we want to show the description or the answer to the question, right? So right now we don't have any. You can see we have that, and our open style is also taking effect. Okay, so we are basically done with the main functionality, which is very, very simple, guys. Very, very simple. Right now, the next thing we have to do is to change the plus to minus when we open it. Okay, so let's get back here, and right here, if it's open is true, then we want to show the minus. Okay, if it's open is true, then we want to show the minus. Where is it? But if it is false, then we want to show the plus sign. Okay, so now when I come to the project and I click, I get the minus. Okay, if I click this one, I get the minus as well, right? So everything is working perfectly, guys. Everything is working perfectly. Okay, and that's it for this project. I'm glad you stuck around through the entire video, and I'll be bringing you more exciting videos, more, you know, React videos way better than this. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.